2 of 5 Canadians are estimated to develop tumor in their lifetime. 1 of 4 of them are estimated to die because of the disease. These numbers are scary. Cancer is scary. Today, I'm going to share more scary things with you, but I do not want you to be afraid. The more we discuss cancer, learn about cancer, and confront it as a possible outcome in any of our life, the better prepared we can be to handle cancer. Today, cancer patients have a better chance of survival than they did even 10 years ago. This is because of improved screening, earlier diagnosis, and innovative treatment options. I am a Canadian oncology scientist and a Harvard-trained researcher, and I have spent the last 10 years of my life looking at tumor development, how cancer spreads, and its profound impact on our bodies. I have learned a lot, but nothing feels more important for me to share than this. Awareness against how to prevent cancer is equally as important as learning how to treat it. So, in simple words, I will explain how cancer works. In our bodies, there is a balance between cells that divide and cells that die. This is called apoptosis. So, imagine we are running a program in our body that tells the cells when to die and get replaced with the new ones. And then a cleanup crew comes and they take away all the dead and damaged cells away. If the program does not work properly, then instead of dying, the cells keep on multiplying and they can turn into cancer. We all produce cancer cells every day. See, I told you, I'm going to share more scary things. But, our bodies are programmed to get rid of them all. So, why do some people successfully eliminate cancer cells while others develop tumors? The difference often comes down to the strength of our immune system. So when our bodies are constantly getting exposed to carcinogens, our immune systems get tired by detoxifying all these chemicals, stressors, and in turn, cancers can grow more easily. Of course, there are other factors like age and genetics and many that are out of our control. There is no way to predict who will get cancer and when, but there are ways of knowing who is increasing their risk of getting cancer. This matters. We all make choices every day that increases our risk of getting cancer. Let's look at those choices and see why we make them. Who woke up to an alarm this morning? Me too. And who reached out for their cell phones even without their eyes were fully open? Me as well. This way, we are instantly getting bombarded with a flood of information like news, emails, text messages, work, social media, all of it. Activating the stress responses within our body, setting the tone for the day ahead. Most people don't understand the relationship of chronic stress on our bodies and immune system. Then there is the daily morning rush. We buy coffee and a breakfast sandwich, which may be loaded with modified sugars, additives, and preservatives, all potential carcinogens if consumed regularly. This fuels us until lunchtime or dinner time when convenience often wins. We opt for fast food, processed meals with processed ingredients because that's what we have time for. Remember, this convenience comes at a cost. We are busy, time is money, we are overtired, we are overworked, and in the moment, we make the choices that can have long-term consequences. Research shows that stress and emotional turmoil are the primary drivers of unhealthy eating habits. There are real barriers to eating healthy as well, like high cost, time constraints, lack of quality food ingredients, and even not knowing what is in our food. These barriers exist because of capitalism. We live in a system that benefits from us making poor food choices. Now, let's talk about obesity. Yes, food choices do matter, but what else? People are busy, but busy does not equal activeness. A lifestyle of sitting at desk in front of screens has been normalized. Those long hours at the office are the hours our bodies are stationary. There are other environmental and socioeconomic factors that leads to obesity as well, like lack of safe, walkable neighborhoods, decreased access to primary healthcare physicians, and increased intergenerational trauma. Of course, not all of it is in our hands, but some of it is. Obesity is a very well-known risk factor for many different types of cancers, like breast cancer, colorectal cancer, and the deadly pancreatic cancer. So we are busy and we are tired, and we have too many things to focus to. How many of us spend the quick breaks we get scrolling on our phones? I think you already know where I'm going with this, but spending time on our gadgets isn't going to make us any healthier. A Canadian cross-sectional analysis done in 2022 shows a direct correlation between increased screen time, body dissatisfaction, overeating patterns, and a surge in cosmetic manipulation in both men and women. Our obsession with beauty standards fuel a booming industry of cosmetics and skincare. Of course, there are other reasons as well. But influenced by the societal pressure and the relentless pursuit of perfection, we slather on products in hope of getting eternal youth and flawless skin. Yet many of these products contain ingredients that can disrupt our hormones and eventually lead to cancer. The long-term consequence of lasers for cosmetic purpose also do carry dangerous consequences. These habits that are included as self-care can cause mutations in our genetic makeup. And of course, the beauty industry isn't warning their consumers about the side effect of the ingredients they have in their product. Pharmaceuticals play a major role in this discussion as well. There is a quick fix for every ailment, whether real or perceived. There are drugs that are improving our quality of life, drugs for treating depression, anxiety, lowering cholesterol, for treating diabetes, hormone replacement therapies, oral contraceptives. They do have a positive impact on us. But when cancer comes into the conversation, it gets complex. Although the outcomes from these pharmaceuticals are rare, although the increased risk of cancer as a side effect is low, it still exists. I don't want the risk of cancer buried in the fine print. I want people to make decisions about their health by being aware of and have full understanding of all the information. So, how we are dealing with our daily stress? Some people smoke cigarettes, and it's not that they don't know smoking causes cancer. Of course, they know that their addiction is winning over their better judgment. Some smoke cannabis or vape, thinking it might be safer alternative, but research shows some of the same carcinogens are present. The Center for Mental Health and Addiction attributes thousands of cancer care in Canada annually to alcohol use alone. Cancer can be a consequence of the way we are coping, and we need to confront it somehow. So awareness and information, and the very real understanding that the choices that seem benign, lifestyles that are normalized, and the things that everyone does all the time do have devastating outcomes on our own bodies. Every day we are faced with relentless pressure to excel, to work, to raise our families. From the crack of dawn to lights out, our lives, our days are packed with stressors and choices that can fuel cancer. I know that's scary, but staying in the dark about these things is much scarier. I want cancer prevention to bring into light so we can deal with these things head on and change the story around cancer. So the common threads I have mentioned in my conversation so far are convenience, capitalism, stress, and societal pressure. By being aware of these invisible triggers and the choices we make every day, we can start making different choices. Pay attention to what you ingest or rub on your skin or where you accept your stressors from. It can be overwhelming in start, but it doesn't need to be perfect. Of course, you can enjoy some processed food or use that moisturizer that works really well, but take stock of the overall picture of your health and how you might be impacting it. I am inspired every day by the brilliant minds who are working all around the world to modify or improve the treatment of cancer. The next 10 years hold immense advancements in the field of how we are saving the lives of those that cancer takes. And I am full of hope. This will be my life's work. But let's not only focus on how to treat cancer, let's have less cancer to treat. Please be curious about the long-term risks you might be taking. You all deserve to be healthy. Thank you very much.